Welcome to Musar Nail and Beauty, where I will show you how to create beautiful nail art at home using affordable products. Hi everyone! Today I'm going to be showing you how to do some nail stamping with alcohol inks and some holographic nail polish. I'm going to be using the Color Club Harp on It and some homemade alcohol inks, and I'm going to be using a just regular black nail polish, not regular stamping polish, but just a black highly pigmented just regular nail polish that you might have at home. This one is called Respect, and it is by Pink Princess Nails. It comes in a bottle like this, and it's pretty cheap, but it seems to really pigment and work for stamping really well. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is put a base coat on my nails. I'm going to be using the Pro FX sticky base coat. Tends to lock the nail polish on there pretty good. So we're just going to do a quick coat of that on the nail. Let that dry for a minute. And I'll talk about the plate that we're going to be using. The plate we're using today is a finger angel plate, and we're going to be using a reverse stamping technique with these butterflies. I really like this design. What will happen is the butterflies with the alcohol ink on top of the holographic polish will show through the black polish we're going to be putting as the overlay. The butterflies being the more silver color, they're going to not pick up the stamping polish. The opaque color is where the polish will stick to the blade. That should have dried enough now. So now we're going to put our holographic polish on. It doesn't take a lot, and it's only one coat that we're going to be putting down for this particular nail design, because we want most of the colors to come through from the alcohol ink. As you can see, that's got a pretty nice holographic look to it. Now the alcohol inks that I'm using today are going to be homemade, actually. I made them myself using some different colored Sharpies and some 90% rubbing alcohol. I just cut up the innards of Sharpies to get the color portions out, threw them in some Ziploc baggies, and put some 90% rubbing alcohol in with them and let them soak in there for about 10 to 15 minutes. Took the Sharpie parts out and then snipped a little hole in the bottom of the bags, and then used that as a funnel to pour them into some nail polish bottles that I had that were empty. Okay, so we've got a number of different colors, and what we're going to do is we're just going to dab a brush. I'm not going to use the brush that comes with the nail polish bottle because it's too large, but in this case I'm just going to dab, and you can see how that kind of just flows. Some of the alcohol ink, kind of splotching it all over, and I'm going to just use an alcohol wipe to just wipe off my brush between each coat, so I don't contaminate the colors. And you don't have to be precise with this, because we're going to do something else with this before we do the stamping on it so it doesn't look so splotchy. And you can go over this to make it darker if some of your alcohol inks are not highly pigmented. You can buy alcohol ink at Michael's and craft supply stores as well. The reason I make my own is because it's fairly inexpensive compared to paying like $20 or $30 for a couple of bottles of ink that aren't even as large at a craft store. So you can see I've got a number of different colors here. This one's kind of an orangey yellow. And you can overlay them a bit as well. This one's going to be a bit of a purple. And the last one, I'm just going to use a little tiny bit of green. Okay, so that's for the alcohol inks. The next step we're going to use is we are going to put on, this is purchased, I purchased this off of the internet. It's a watercolor background. Technically all it is rubbing alcohol. So I don't have any liquid rubbing alcohol on hand right now. With COVID-19, it's hard to get your hands on. Unless you ask a pharmacist, then the 90% is nearly impossible. All you can get is the 70, but 70 will work if you have it. But I had this on hand, so I will use this today. And you can use just the brush that comes with this in there. And what you're going to just do is get the brush wet, and you're just going to kind of dab it around the nail. All this does is it loosens up the alcohol ink that you put on there so that it's more liquid, and then the colors tend to blend together. That's why they call it watercolor, because it just feathers out the edges so that they're not so harsh. This is a really nice look, especially for doing marbling. This really makes a really nice marbled effect. So that seems to have blended out nicely there. All the edges are now nice and sort of feathered out. Now we will do our stamping. So like I said, we're going to be using this one here in the butterfly with the regular nail polish. And when you're doing this, like I said, you need a fairly flexible piece of plastic. Do not use metal. Metal will scrape the plate. The plastic is so that you can remove the excess nail polish from the plate so that you can then use your stamping head to pick it up. I'm going to be using this rectangular squishy stamping plate today, which is very good for picking up images off of most plates, and because this isn't a very large nail, this will cover it nicely. So when you're doing stamping, if you're using regular stamping polish, you only need to go down about halfway because it's very thick and very highly pigmented. With this particular plate, because I'm using regular nail polish, I'm going to be putting nail polish over most of the plate. Like that. Then I'm going to take this, and on a 45-degree angle, I'm going to gently scrape off the excess nail polish, and then I'm going to take the stamper, roll it across so that you get this look. And to do this, you're going to roll across the nail like so. And you can see how that does that. Okay. Let that dry for a few minutes. And then on top of that, you're going to put a fairly thick top coat. I'm using a Supreme Gel today by ProFX again. The ProFX are a really good product, but they're very hard to get your hands on right now. I'm not sure if the company's gone out of business, but if you can find them, I really highly recommend picking them up because they are amazing. And pretty cheap as well for the size of the bottle that you get. So, as you can see, now that this is top coated, you can actually see the holographic underneath with the colors. And it looks pretty cool. Thank you for watching my video. Be sure to check out my Facebook page, Musar Nails, for more ideas, and visit my website, musar-nail-and-beauty.myshopify.com to purchase your nail art supplies.